shit was cool. I mean, that's what, you know.
Oh, yeah, God.
All right, so All right, so all right, kick this off by giving all honor, praise, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Wahakudash Rakah.
double honors to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone. The Wadi Habashim Yahweh Shah, Kahawa Kakudash. Say thank you for the Holy Spirit, or the Spirit Holy. Peace and blessings to the faithful elect, those slated to be saved from the destruction that has been declared, to come upon America, to the entire globe as well, but primarily here, and to all the wicked inhabitants hereof. Those slated to be saved also being declared in the scriptures in the Bible from the beginning, being none other than the Israelites, who today are being called so-called blacks, so-called black Hebrew Israelites, so-called African Americans, Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, Hispanics, West Indians, Seminole Indians, and Afro people scattered abroad. The men of these people teaching the true doctrine of the Bible, and the men and women and children of these people also who have turned back to their true heritage, the true doctrine of the Bible, the way of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. All right? So Shalom.
Shalom.
So pretty much, man, this is in wake of a series of this constantly being mentioned, from the brothers and by the Spirit. One of the elders was going into it earlier, and the elder Ramla, the elder apostle Ramla, and pretty much, the scriptures say that the Spirit speaketh expressly, because you should see the title. Is it going into the whole, pretty much us being defamed, slandered, made the filth of all things, as the scripture say, man. Pretty much is another part of prophecy, is another part of things. It's another one of the pieces of things that will be heightened as we move forth in Jacob's trouble, which I believe we're in. It's just we waiting for the pinnacle. We're clearly in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing good about none of the things that's going on. Joe Biden just declared an airstrike on, I forget exactly where. We'll watch on that. Then you got this crap going on in the midst, which is nothing new. It's a furtherance. Like I said, it's a furtherance of everything, man. All right. So since it's been mentioned again, we'll go ahead and touch on it. We done touched on this topic, a few times, plenty of times, and we're gonna see what we got. So we're gonna go ahead and go into this video that one of the Akium sent, and because I didn't even really watch the live that the elder apostle was going into. I was just listening, like chime in, and then I connected two and two together. The Spirit just had me just, watching. Then it got pointed out, like, look, it's live. You know what I'm saying? So it was all about the Spirit. And the brothers, amongst us, brothers was already talking about it. Brother Nakwaya and the other brother that got mentioned. So pretty much we're gonna go ahead and see what we got here. So like I said, this is a video going into some new legislation. So let's see. return, you can go to the fish hunt rest page. Fish hunt rest. They come up and we're sharing our screen over here. All right. And this some breaks in this thing, so we're gonna skim through them. We're gonna jump to the point too. We're gonna let her kick it off. Yeah.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like that. What's in your wallet?
This opening, as I call this subcommittee to order, without objection, the chair is authorized to declare recesses of the subcommittee at any time. Just as an aside, technology will not defeat our work. We are gathered here, and I welcome everyone this afternoon to this afternoon's oversight hearing on the rise of domestic terrorism in America. Before we begin, I would like to remind you that circulate exhibits, motions, or other written materials the members may want to offer as part of our hearing. If you would like to submit materials, please send them to the email address that has been previously distributed to your offices. We will circulate the materials to members and staff as quickly as possible. I would also ask all members, both those in person and those attending remotely, to mute your microphones when you are not speaking. This will help prevent feedback and other technical issues. You may unmute yourself anytime you seek recognition. I would also remind all members that guidance from the Office of Attendance calls for all members to wear masks even when they are speaking. I will now recognize myself for an opening statement and emphasize the importance of this day. Over the course of the last 4 years, every corner of the United States has felt the impact of the rise of domestic terrorism. Communities of faith, peaceful protesters, and even the United
States. She just said something. She said over, Americans been facing a rise of terrorism, domestic, and faith.
Over the course of the last 4 years, every corner of the United States has felt the impact of rise of domestic terrorism. Communities of faith.
See, a rise of domestic, or every corner of America has felt a rise in domestic terrorism. Community faith.
Over the course of the last 4 years, every corner of the United States has felt the impact of the rise of domestic terrorism. Communities of faith, peaceful protesters.
So they're saying America's been suffering. I keep missing that word. She said peaceful protesters, and what? Before peaceful protesters face what?
And emphasize the importance of this day. Over the course of the last 4 years, every corner of the United States has felt the impact of the rise of domestic terrorism. Communities of faith, peaceful protest.
America's been faced with communities of faith. Ain't that many? Anyway,
And even the United States Congress itself have been attacked by domestic terrorists. The executive branch has an array of statutory authority to prevent attacks and bring charges against domestic terrorists, including those that are white supremacists. It is abundantly clear, however, that despite pleas from Congress and the American people, these tools have not been fully utilized nor implemented effectively with the full force of law and all the available resources. We must focus on our federal government on the goal of eradicating those homegrown threats in communities across the country.
they say anybody that falls under this criteria will be eradicated. Eradicated, brother.
Come. This is eradicate. It says destroy completely, put an end to.
They want to put an end to and completely destroy anybody that falls under this criteria.
Domestic terrorists pose a clear and deadly threat to the well-being of all Americans.
So communities of faith have been put under domestic terror. That's basically what she said. I mean,
The well-being of all people, tools not to implement the full force of law and all the available resources. We must focus on our federal government on the goal of eradicating those homegrown threats in communities across the country. Domestic terrorists pose a clear and deadly threat.
the domestic terrorists in which was listed communities of faith and peaceful protesters. They impose a deadly threat according to the U.S. government. Which is why the scripture that opposing government and opposing government to his government. And it's by the spirit that they just released the Black Messiah, the Jewish and the Black Messiah.
To the well-being of all Americans. During the
Communities of faith and peaceful protesters
clear and deadly threat to the well-being of all Americans.
they pose a deadly threat to all of America. So either prophecy or you're making up shit.
During the past 2 years, this committee has examined the federal response to domestic terrorists each time a horrific and tragic white supremacist attack has taken place. And just one sober example, in August of 2019, the shooting spree at a Walmart in El Paso, the home of our colleague, the Honorable Veronica Escobar, left 22 people dead and 24 more wounded.
What does that got to do with peaceful protest? People fake. You got trying to, you know what I'm saying?
Marking the third deadliest act of violence by domestic extremists in more than 50 years.
Act like this, everything she's trying to act like is all under one market, and it's clearly not. You know what I'm saying? You outside of the market that you introduced. Completely.
It's certainly troubling. The core of his hatred is based on language and ethnicity. so troubling that there have been so many shocking tragedies in recent years, from the deadly rampage at Pittsburgh's Tree of Life Synagogue, religion, and immigration issues, to the 2012 white supremacist attack on the Sikh temple in Milwaukee. So sad that I have been on this committee through all of these horrific attacks. And to the brutal murder of 9 worshipers at the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston. Even our most hallowed houses of worship have become targets of violent and hateful domestic terror. The funeral for these
That don't even make sense. Wouldn't those be communities of faith? You saying everybody outside the church building? That's showing you these niggas with the 501c3. They in, you know what I'm saying? They set up and they know what they are orchestrating behind those walls. That the Lord said He don't dwell in. But somehow corners in America is mentioned. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. And that ain't figuratively speaking either. You saying that literally.
precious
Because
souls.
remember, she's talking about who? Peaceful protesters. Are they not on corners?
Was a powerful
Communities of
statement.
faith. Is there not a church on every corner? Are there not evangelists on every corner?
That we would not tolerate that violence. It was taken to another level. President Barack Obama sang the song, Amazing Grace. For all of those
The
who
Lord gonna kill the so-called black woman. All you sell out coonets, the Lord's gonna destroy you. So keep playing that, Miss Jackson.
want to
With
put
that damn slave name.
say about the
You
nature
ain't gonna be able to run your mouth any damn way.
of this threat, or make false comparisons, take a moment to pause and reflect on that statistic. Over the last 10 years, 75% of all murders have resulting from domestic terrorism have been the result of right-wing
And
extremism.
real quick, so before you try to use this against us, let's get a scripture. Let's prove that in the scripture. You ain't gonna be running your damn mouth. Let's get in your mouth. Definitely. Matter of fact, also. Let's get this one. Let's get 1 Timothy 2:10. Matter of fact, 1 Timothy 1 Corinthians 4 30. And we're gonna speak as we go, just so this ain't that long. Trying to collect thoughts on, you know, on 15 as we go.
Yeah, First Corinthians.
Yeah, 14. See that? 33.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints.
See, so the Lord is not of the author, he's not the author of confusion according to his word. Now what follows up after this statement? You know?
And so like
You supposed to keep the churches. See, this is why, you know, she's there. That's not a church. That's not the gathering of the Israelites, communing about the Lord. Right?
Right. It says, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded also. It's 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 11. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. Verse 12, it says, but I suffer not a woman to teach. Who? A woman. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man.
And we going to this word teach is going into pretty much the ministry and word out. You know what I'm saying? So you're not doing that. You're not set up to do it. You're going to teach the other women, you know, and children, according to, you know, the man. All right. And the damn part, you know, you open your damn mouth. Well, that's in the scriptures. Give me let me get first John. No, not first John. I think John 12. You start at 34. You know, it's all according to your mouth. All right. 12 and start 30.
This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that man shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. It says, for by thy words,
About what?
for by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
Now let's get that word condemned. Let's get a Hebrew definition. Condemned. Let's get some synonym.
This is condemned. It says sentenced to a particular punishment, especially death.
That's what condemnation is. All right, come on.
Officially declared unfit for use. Give us some synonyms. Damn.
You said it's what?
Damn.
It's what?
Damn.
See that? So there you go, man. So another word for damn is condemnation. Condemnation. Damn. So your damn mouth. You see that? Your mouth damns you. That's in the scriptures. Let's go back to that real quick.
It's Matthew chapter 12, verse 36. Right. It says, but I say unto you that every idle word that man shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words, thou shalt be justified, and by thy words, thy words,
Anything with that.
thy words,
Come on.
thou shalt be condemned.
See? So you're gonna be your words damn you. Your words come forth, your mouth, man. See that? So you open your damn mouth. See that? You trying to marginalize, you said how could peaceful protesters be domestic terrorists and threaten people's lives? You're gonna have to give account for that. You know what I'm saying? That don't even go together, that don't even make sense.
Thank you.
In faith, communities of faith, man. All right, let's get one more. Let's get 1 Corinthians 11 and 29. And we're going to hit Clemens for you. Just in case y'all try to watch, you know, anything to make us look bad. Come on.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 29. That's right. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, eateth and drinketh damnation.
What?
damnation to himself.
That's in the Bible. Damnation. You know, scriptures talk about damnable heresy. You see what I'm saying? Is that it?
It says not discerning the Lord's body.
That's it. There you go, man. Let me get this too. People too much. Put damn mouth. All right.
This is First Peter. It says, wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisy.
See, guile, that's what she's coming with. I'm supposed to lay that aside. The word says you're not to deal with guile. You see what I'm saying? You're going to get that guile. The guile goes into treachery or deceit. You see what I'm saying? And that's very deceitful to try to introduce the margin as being what America's been suffering with. You know, on every corner. Peaceful protesters, communities of faith, they have seen an increase in that. And then you marginalize it with a dude who shot up a Walmart. And his motive was his source of hatred, you said, was language and ethnicity. That's crazy. All right, come on.
This is guile. It says sly or cunning intelligence.
See, that's what this is. And you're only able to do this because you are of your father, the devil. You got to teach the so-called white man. He fits the criteria of who the devil is said to be and how to be in Scripture. The so-called white man fits the bill, man. And you go foot the bill of those that have been sold by him. All right, come on.
Back to Scripture.
Is that it on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Yep.
This First Peter chapter 2, verse 1. It says, wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies,
Plans,
craftiness, and hypocrisies, and envies, and all evil speakings.
evil speaking. We're talking about eradicating peaceful protesting. We need to destroy it completely, put it into. Come on.
It says, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk.
Where you at?
Verse 2.
You know what you mean?
First Peter chapter
2 Peter, locked out. That was me. That's my spirit. 2 Peter 2 and 1.
Come on. It's 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Come on. It says, but there were false prophets, also among the people.
See?
Well, it says, even as there shall be false teachers.
What? See? The false teacher right here. Come on.
Who privily shall bring a damnable,
Probably. Come on. Privily, probably. Come on.
shall bring damnable heresies.
What type of heresy?
Damnable heresies.
Damnable. You people that your damn mouth, your damn works. You see what I'm saying? And what is a heresy? That's something pretty much not. It's something from left field, you know? That's what a heresy is. And that's what this is. How you gonna introduce your margin to this and act like you still in the same margin when you keep talking about some guy that went and shot up or some guns? Like, what is you talking about?
Attempts to equate white supremacy to anarchists, activists, and other groups who are opposed to white nationalism and other domestic terror.
So they after people that's opposed to white nationalism. That's crazy. That's crazy. Esau hurt. That's what this is. This man hurt. You still going in slavery. It don't matter. It don't matter, man. Oh, Isaiah 9 too, bro. You can drop all this. Isaiah 10 and 1.
The funeral for these precious souls was a powerful statement that we would not tolerate that violence. It was taken to another level. And President Barack Obama sang the song, Amazing Grace. For all those who want to equivocate about the nature of this threat or make false comparisons, take a moment to pause and reflect on that statistic. Over the last 10 years, 75% of all murders have resulting from domestic terrorism have been the result of right-wing extremism. Attempts to equate white supremacy to anarchists, activists, and other groups who are opposed to white nationalism and other domestic terrors ring as hollow today as they did following the alt-right protests in Charlottesville, Virginia. No, there are not good.
She's trying to talk fast. You know what I'm saying? You have to be clear when you're saying stuff like this.
That violence. It was taken to another level. And President Barack Obama sang the song, Amazing Grace. For all those who want to equivocate about the nature of this threat or make false comparisons, take a moment to pause and reflect on that statistic. Over the last 10 years, 75% of all murders have resulting from domestic terrorism have been the result of right-wing extremism. Attempts to equate white supremacy to anarchists, activists, and other groups who are opposed to white nationalism and other domestic terrors ring as hollow today as they did following the alt-right protests. Not to pause and reflect on that statistic. Over the last 10 years, 75% of all murders have resulting from domestic terrorism have been the result of right-wing extremism. Attempts to equate white supremacy to anarchists.
So these are people, white-wing extremists. They are identifying these people identify white supremacy or
On that statistic. Over the last 10 years, 75% of the result of right-wing extremism.
Can you tell us about white-wing extremists?
Attempts to equate white supremacy to anarchists.
These are people trying to equate white supremacy to
Activists and other groups.
So pretty much y'all okaying white supremacy. We're saying that like that. You acknowledging it, and you saying that it's an issue with someone being opposed to something that really is not, that supposedly never existed. I don't see any white supremacy. So what is she talking about then?
Over the last 10 years, 75% of all murders have resulting from domestic terrorism have been the result of right-wing extremism. Attempts to equate white supremacy to
So white supremacy exists.
They're trying to equate, equalize it with what she's about to go and say.
Right, but jumping, that's the initial thing. Catching that, she's acknowledging white supremacy. And she's saying that white wingists are trying to equate these things with something that people say don't exist. White people say don't exist. Elites will tell you don't exist. You will talk to her one-on-one and she will tell you don't exist. So what is she talking about? So you acknowledging white supremacy, Edomite supremacy, and y'all fighting for it. That's basically what you're saying. Regardless if you saying these people, because they could easily be like, no, we're saying that they acknowledge white supremacy and they are equating it with things like they believe white supremacy. No, that shit wouldn't even get mentioned, man. You trying to put it back off on the people, and this is what y'all brought this up, man. Ain't nobody tell y'all to do this.
For all those who want to equivocate about the nature of this threat or make false comparisons, take a moment to pause and reflect on that statistic. Over the last 10 years, 75% of all murders have resulting from domestic terrorism have been the result of right-wing extremism. Attempts to equate white supremacy to anarchists, activists, and other groups who are opposed to white nationalism and other domestic terrors ring as hollow today as they did following the alt-right protests in Charlottesville, Virginia.
See, she didn't say shit. She just acknowledged white supremacy exists and they fighting for it to keep it. That's basically what she said. Because she said these people are trying to equate white supremacy with white nationalists. That, I mean, what are you even talking about? But she's trying to have the listeners see it like these people possibly are just creating this notion of white supremacy and they're equating it. You see what I'm saying? But that really don't make sense. More so, you coming with a common issue. You see what I'm saying? That's out here. This whole white supremacy thing, man. And you saying y'all observing that these people that y'all identify as white wingers is being against. But they can't be against something y'all say don't exist. And you couldn't bring that to the public and your own, you know what I'm saying? This is a hearing. This is sin. Once again, this is about domestic terrorism. So she basically saying white wingers terrorizing white supremacists. That's basically what she's saying.
From that statistic, over the last 10 years, 75% of all murders have resulting from domestic terrorism have been the result of right-wing extremism. Attempts to equate white supremacy to anarchists, activists, other groups.
And she ain't even saying shit. She ain't even say nothing. You don't know what they comparing it to. Because you just making up stuff.
Opposed to white nationalism and other
who are opposed to white nationalists. So white wingers are against white supremacy, and they equate white supremacy to what she say. She said, what's the first two she said? That's what she said, anarchists. I couldn't even understand what she said on that part. That don't make sense. If she did, that's even stupider for her to say. Because when is white supremacy? When have they been doing anarchy? You see what I'm saying?
The domestic terrorism have been the result of right.
You can't be like, well, January 6th. You coming with a case. That's a compilation of things. That ain't enough. So besides that, when have we seen white supremacy act out anarchy? You ain't seen it.
To equate white supremacy to anarchists,
anarchists or something.
Activists and other groups.
Activists. That's what they comparing it to.
Who are opposed to white nationalism.
Who are opposed to white nationalists. So are white wingers against white nationalists? You see what I'm saying? That makes sense. So you would, if in that case, let's say, okay, you just acknowledge white supremacy and white nationalists being out here, and you saying white wingers are people that's against these people that no one says exist. You know what I'm saying? She ain't say Ku Klux Klan.
And other domestic terrorists ring as hollow today as they did following the alt-right protests in Charlottesville, Virginia.
So ESAU no, put a case.
There are not good people on both sides. On January 6th, former President
there it is. They exist.
Directed a group of his followers is included an array of hate-filled extremists to attack the Capitol and Congress at a time when we were fulfilling our sacred constitutional duty in certifying elections.
Sacred. Let me get Hebrews 12 and 16 real quick. She said sacred, man. Ain't nothing sacred about that, man. Tell us damn sacred. Esau said to be profane. Now, who is Esau according to the Bible? In history. Because the Romans are said to be Idumeans. We read First Maccabees. And the so-called white man say they was the Romans. And another word for Idumea is Edom. Another word for Edom, who Esau is the father of, is Idumea.
God, this is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16.
So y'all the Edomites. Go ahead, so-called white people.
lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
What type of person?
Fornicator or profane person as Esau.
I get the definition, brother, but profane. Let's see how sacred so-called white people are, and they're doing it. She up there defending the so-called white man. All these problems she's mentioning, look, all these problems she's mentioning got something to do. These are so-called white people issues. What your so-called black ass up there for, man? Cause you the darkness. That's what black means, man. Come on.
Profane. It says relating or devoted to that which is not sacred.
Which is what?
Which is not sacred.
See? The hell out of here, man.
Or biblical.
See?
Look, secular rather than religious.
Worldly. Common.
On both sides. On January 6th, former President Trump directed a group of his followers, which included an array of hate-filled extremists, to attack the Capitol and Congress at a time when we were fulfilling our sacred constitutional duty in certifying electors.
That's in the Bible.
Our citizens have repeatedly
That's
have been horrified by the images from that day, including police officers being beaten and bloodied, beatings which caused the death and serious lasting injuries. There are no both sides in this debate. We must not be misled by efforts to divert the attention and accountability for these acts of right-wing violence and terror.
So basically, y'all set up the fucking January 6th riot. Y'all incited that to tie peaceful protesters and communities of faith with them. Because communities of faith ain't going to do it. They just going to keep reading the Bible until the Lord comes back. And we want to demonize them. They're not going to go actually go in and, storm the Capitol. What fucking reason do we have to do it? We don't want nothing to do with this place. We want to leave. We want the Lord to come get us. All right? Because so-called black Hebrew Israelites, we're the Hebrew Israelites, man. You call us so-called black Hebrew Israelites, that's a community of faith. When have they marched and stormed the Capitol and shot up people and not got arrested? You see what I'm saying? So yeah, all that happened just for y'all to come later and tie people who fall under communities of faith and peaceful protesters to them, to that. Come on, man. Some smell fishy, man.
So, for instance, says that the real problem is something called Antifa. Is it irresponsible and belittles the serious?
So y'all set that group up there. Because all of a sudden, all these same groups, that's all so-called white people. Owns that. Now all of a sudden, their issue, but yet y'all using their taking up, bearing of arms and all of this to correlate that to communities of faith. To measure the communities of faith agenda and peaceful protesters. Come on, man.
Of the threat of extreme right-wing violence and misidentifying who the perpetrators predominantly are in this community.
See?
As the FBI director said unequivocally, white supremacists are the most lethal threat for domestic violence in our country. Among domestic terrorists, white
supremacists are the most lethal. So y'all telling on ourselves, man. You see what I'm saying? Lord is exposing y'all. Real quick, brother, let me get Psalm 64, 8. That's what that was. They're trying to be all over the place. First, white supremacy don't exist, and now it does. And now they're the worst people. But yet, we talking about domestic terrorists and communities which started off being highlighted by being communities of faith and peaceful protesters. How would Antifa groups, the Proud Boys, the people at January 6th, storming of the Capitol, the so-called capital, how would they fall under peaceful protesters and communities of faith? Y'all trying to get these communities of faith to do something, and it ain't working. So now y'all just taking the group y'all set up and to marginalize everybody that got something to say. You devils going into slavery.
Supremacy has no equivalent. I asked all the members of the subcommittee.
And yeah, that's right. So-called white supremacy is the most lethal, man, and it's deadly. You so-called white people are the devil according to the Bible. Go ahead, bro.
64:8. This is Psalms.
No, that was it.
Psalm chapter 64, verse 8. It says, So they shall make their own tongue fall upon themselves.
See? That's it, man. So the Lord shot at y'all, man. He's setting y'all up to say all these things, man.
To join me today in denouncing domestic terrorism, including white supremacy in all forms.
Ain't nobody white.
Just take an oath or raise our hands. With this hearing today, this subcommittee comes together again to seek answers to why.
This is the case. You know what I'm saying? And the case here is what? We need to get rid of all domestic terrorists, communities of faith and peaceful protesters. The guy that shot up Walmart, and his source of hate was language and ethnicity. The people that stormed the Capitol, you know, white wingists who hate white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? Only to sum that up, all is being domestic terrorists because of these guys, these people that y'all set up, Antifa groups. The same Antifa groups that was getting caught during the George Floyd riots, setting up bricks and handing so-called black people bricks, getting their ass cussed out by so-called black people that was catching them doing that to their people, trying to hand our people bricks. And y'all was getting exposed. Mom Jake was cussing their ass out, like, why are you handing them bricks? Y'all know what they'll do to us? This shit is fucking, you sick ass people, man. And you got your black ass up there. You probably ain't even like. Goddamn, man.
The federal government has not taken the steps necessary to address the rising specter of right-wing and white nationalist domestic terrorism. At the beginning of the last Congress, the Judiciary Committee held a hearing entitled Hate Crimes and the Rise of White Nationalism. During that hearing, we heard from a diverse panel of witnesses who described the rise of white nationalism.
Look. Y'all cracking down on domestic terrorists, right? Is the case, matter of fact, is the hearing. You know, a presentation y'all want to present on what y'all want to do and why. But and this is the case. This is the case y'all built to crack down on domestic terrorists, which consists of peaceful protesters and communities of faith. But this is the case y'all built. January and Antifa. And that's all recent. The damn Proud Boys started, I believe, in 2018. So ain't no history there. Ain't enough there, man. Drug dealers get watched for like 7 years before y'all do anything, man. Let me get Revelation 12:12. Then we're going to jump to the
Revelation 12, chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore, ye heavens, and he that dwells in them, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the seals.
So really, we got to rejoice because we're in the heavens and we know what's going on. We're above you people in the spirit. Come on.
And of the seals, for the devil is come down unto you. For the devil.
The Lord talks about it being a devil roaming the earth. Come on.
For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
There you go, man. So they going fast as hell. 2018, they use that same group to, you know, make a case against what they want to consider domestic terrorists, which is things they want to eradicate, right? Meaning completely destroy, get rid of, man. Put it into, make no more. And the case they built to do that is a group that go back to 2018. Shit is crazy, man. Shit is crazy, man.
In the current enforcement regime, what was clear then?
So my question is to you now, for those that may be watching, do so-called what we do is us, the believers in this faith, believers of the Heavenly Father, name of the Son, Yahweh, Shah, you awaken Israelites out there. What does our heritage, because this is in fact what this is our heritage according to the Bible. And we're commanded to deal with forever. Does this fall under a community of faith? A peaceful protester? Men that hit the highways and byways. Does this fall under this, man? This is clearly a peaceful protest right here. We're on the computer, on the internet, just talking. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about the intensity. We ain't talking about the value, the use of words. We're just talking nonetheless. Period. Regardless of any of that, we're talking. You know?
And it's clear now?
Because if so, you got an upcoming issue in your hand. You know?
Is that our current approach is not working. Enough is enough. It is time for the action, and I look forward to hearing from today's panelists on what federal law enforcement must do to swiftly address the rise of domestic terrorism and how Congress can help. I believe that there are well-reasoned and necessary.
He said it's time. You see what I'm saying? So the devil come down on you, and he had but short time, man. With wrath. It's time. They gonna get all these jakes that's out here playing games, man. You know what I'm saying? But you said it's time.
Steps that we can take, such as passing Representative Brad Snyder's Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act that would focus the federal government's.
And if we push in the words of the Lord, let me get Psalms 47 to 3 real quick, bro. If we push in the words of the Lord, what is truly the domestic terrorism? Come on.
Mm-hmm. Psalm chapter 47, verse 3. He shall subdue the people. Psalm chapter 47, verse 2. For the Lord Most High is terrible.
One more time.
For the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai is terrible.
See, for the Lord is terrible. You see what I'm saying? For the Lord is terrible. You know what I'm saying? Domestic terrorism. So if we push in the words of the Lord, well, it say right here, what? Read that one time. What are you at?
Psalm chapter 47, verse 2. For the Lord Most High is terrible.
See, he's terrible. Come on.
He is a great king.
He is a great king
over all the earth.
So he's terrible. So if he's terrible when we telling men of his acts, wouldn't that be terrorism? You know what I'm saying? Let me get 66, Psalm 66, and not to agree. 66 and 5. I thought you started 3.
Psalm 66, verse 3, saying to the Most High, how terrible art thou in thy works.
See?
Psalm chapter 66, verse 3, saying to the Most High.
So how about you say unto the Most High? Come on.
How terrible art thou in thy works.
Are who?
Art thou.
See? And what?
In thy works.
And whose works?
In thy works.
You see? So you got call the Lord a terrorist. He brings terror, man. So this book a nightmare to you, obviously. This will be the number one thing. See that? This somehow the Lord lines up with terrorism. Somehow.
This is Psalm chapter 66, verse 5. It says, come and see the works of the Most High. He is terrible.
Who is terrible?
He is terrible.
See? How about you come learn about the Lord? You tell them. You know what I'm saying? So if we teaching His word, wouldn't that be terrorism? We telling you the Lord's works. Give me Psalms 145. 140. 145 and 6.
Psalm chapter
Started
This Psalm chapter 145, verse 5.
Give me 3 verses. Like,
Psalm chapter 145, verse 3.
come on.
Great is the Lord Yahweh,
Praise the Lord, Yahweh. Come on.
and greatly to be praised. It says, and his greatness is unsearchable. Psalms 145, verse 5. I will speak of the glorious honor of thy majesty,
Whose majesty?
of thy majesty, and of thy wondrous works.
Whose wondrous works?
Of thy wondrous works.
Right.
And men
Yeah.
shall speak of the might
So we what?
shall speak of the might of thy terrible acts.
Of whose terrible acts?
Of thy terrible acts.
So really, who are they talking about? You know what I'm saying? The Lord exposed you devils, man. Come on.
It says, and I will declare,
And who?
and I will declare,
Will do what?
will declare thy greatness.
Whose greatness?
Thy greatness.
See? So we bringing out these words and say the Lord, how he. So we're going to declare his terror. Wouldn't that be terrorism? You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't fucking slick, man.
Sources on the continuing threat to terrorize and kill Americans. In domestic terrorism, our country has suffered horrendous and repeated attacks on our people and our democracy. Attacks not from beyond our borders, but from within. And as well, we saw on January 6th.
Give me Proverbs 16 and 25.
Those attacks have been on those innocent law enforcement officers standing in the gap to protect the citadel of democracy.
Innocent, huh?
Wounds are deep, but our resolve is strong. We must not allow this on the continuing threat to our country. Law enforcement, and repeated attacks on our people and our democracy. Attacks not from beyond our borders, but from within. And as well, we saw on January 6th, those attacks have been on those innocent law enforcement officers standing in the gap to protect.
Give me Isaiah 5 and 20. Go for
There's woe unto them that call evil good and good evil.
They're not innocent, man. Come on.
That put darkness for light and light for darkness.
So the Lord said, woe unto people who do this. Come on.
That put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty.
Yes, Proverbs 11 and 21.
This Proverbs chapter 11, verse 21. It says, though hand join in, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered.
So there you go. So the doctors doing hand in hand on this, coming together. Y'all do. Wickedness will not go unpunished, man. The Lord is not playing with y'all.
The citadel of democracy.
And everybody gonna get it. That's in the midst of this place, man. According to the scriptures. And we're gonna keep telling you people that. Come on.
Wounds are deep, but our resolve is strong.
That's a lie. See, wounds are deep. Give me Jeremiah. And that resolve is strong. Give me Jeremiah, you can hold the drop what you hold. Jeremiah 50. And hold that and get over down to down 1. And, Jeremiah 51 that 50 at that 50.
This is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen, see, and destroyed.
What is falling?
Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. And so she may be healed.
See, the Lord is being sarcastic. See that? Read that one time.
Keep going. So like Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed.
Law enforcement officers standing in the gap to protect the citadel of democracy. Wounds are deep, but our resolve is strong.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 51 and 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. It says, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. The Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the word of the Lord the Most High.
Give me, no, Nahum 3 and 19. Yeah, you can go. Matter of fact, before you can bring that out, get Jeremiah 30 and 12.
Law enforcement officers standing in the gap to protect the citadel of democracy. Wounds are deep, but our resolve is strong.
This is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 19. Verse 12. So like, it says, for thus saith the Lord Yahweh, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous.
One more time, man.
God. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 12. It says, for thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. And thy wound is grievous. It is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that they mayest be bound up. That thou mayest be bound up. Then
Ain't no stitches to this place.
thou hast no healing medicines.
Ain't nothing you can do to fix it. You see what I'm saying?
Deep, but our resolve is strong. We must not allow this to continue. And as we examine this very important law enforcement officers standing in the gap to protect the citadel of democracy. Wounds are deep, but our resolve is strong.
Jeremiah chapter 30 and 12. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicine. Thou hast no healing medicine.
Now you got something that's going to work. Come on, man. You got it.
All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek not thee. They seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound.
Have wounded thee?
For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy.
See? The Lord has wounded you, man. And so the wound is deep, man. And you can't do nothing about it. Come on.
With the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased.
Yeah, so this is going into Jake, the chief Jake, you know? That's spiritual. All right? Now, you, name him.
Nahum chapter 3, verse 19. It says, there is no healing of thy bruise. Thy wound is grievous. All that hear the bruise, all that hear the bruise of thee shall clap the hands over thee. For upon whom hath not thy wickedness passed continually?
Everybody want to see this place go down, man. You sit up here rooting for this place, trying to. All right. So it's look at Obadiah. What is all good?
We must not allow this to continue.
See?
And
Oh, that's what I want. Let me get Obadiah 1 and 3. In fact, that ain't Obadiah. That's Michael. Michael 3. In fact, that's Michael. That ain't Michael. That's Malachi 1 and 4. 3. Yep.
Come, this is Malachi chapter 1, verse 3. And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste. For the dragons of the wilderness, it says, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
deep, but our resolve is strong. We must not allow this to continue.
Malachi chapter 1, verse 4. It says, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
See? We ain't impoverished, but we will return and build with that. See, you think you know, there's always a bounce back for you. That pride, come on.
It says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build,
Come on.
but I will throw down.
Who will throw down?
I will throw down.
Come on.
And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
The Lord Yahweh. See? There you go, man.
And
So that's
as
a whole
we
nother
examine
segment. But we ain't gonna go
this very important time in our history, we must recognize the importance, the very importance of the work that we have to do. The nature of the domestic terrorist threats against our country must be examined, and let us do so today. As we do today, I'd like to offer the words of Abraham Lincoln. The world will little note, nor longer remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. The brave men, living and dead, have concentrated it far beyond our poor power.
You know you were slave. Like these niggas. It's so apparent. It's too late in the game for no one to see that these people ain't supposed to be doing what they do. These so-called black people, they have no business. How you up there quoting Abraham Lincoln? Like you done made it, you helped build America. Like what is you doing?
Or to add or detract. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus so nobly advanced. In this committee, I hope that we will finish this noble work and that we will not succumb to this kind of violence in America ever again. I yield to that at this time.
See?
It's now my pleasure to recognize the ranking member of the subcommittee, the gentleman from Arizona, Mr. Biggs, for his opening
Mr.
statement.
Biggs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's a pleasure for me to serve
Mr. Biggs.
on this.
Oh, Mr. Biggs. They got tweets up here, man. They cases tweets. This is a hearing of people of judges and rulers. Their cases is tweets. But what we talk about is hoopla. You know what I'm saying?
It's a dog up there.
But our that's the niggas ABIs. That's a screenshot of tweets. Now I show the retweets of the people that retweet. But what we do is hoopla. They really mad. So what y'all doing? What's this? This the case y'all hold. This is of importance in the, you know what I'm saying? With the chairs and a ranking member with a mask on. Come on, man. They got screenshots as far as their case at the hearing from people with dogs as their ABI. Come on, man.
Security. And as it is, this is the first hearing.
So this to show you, they just validated how we present information. You know what I'm saying? They co-signed, I'll say. They ain't validated nothing. But anyway, let's bring out Isaiah 66 and 4. She up there talking about some weed and all this other crap. She bugged out, man. You got it.
Mm-hmm. It's Isaiah chapter 66, verse 4. Well, I also will choose their delusions and will bring their fears upon them.
See?
Because when I called, none did answer.
So there she goes. She's delusional. Lord has she's on delusion.
2019, Portland and the surrounding areas suffered dozens of violent protests.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like
cardigan.
That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Now, street brawl, false advice that resulted in serious bodily injuries, arson attacks, and property destruction. By 2020, Antifa exploited the anger around the death of George Floyd and others to launch an unprecedented attempted insurrection in Portland. For more than 120 recurring days, Antifa carried out nightly for accommodation, which resulted in a murder, hundreds of arson attacks.
It's the committee on judicial people in recess coming back with some crap, but we're gonna get to the point. We fix this. Right?
This is terrorism, another war of Israel. It says the calculated use of violence to create a general climate of fear in a population and thereby to bring about
Okay, the recess is soon coming to a close, so would all witnesses please come back to the table and turn their cameras on.
Terrorism, the calculated use of violence to create a general climate of fear in a population and thereby to bring about a particular political objective.
So what, bro?
Terrorism, the calculated use of violence to create a general climate of fear.
Yeah, they calculated. So terrorism. It's interesting because it says it's calculated, it's set up. You know what I'm saying? True terrorism is set up. You know?
We need consistency.
says to create a general climate of fear in a population, and thereby to bring about a particular political objective.
Yeah, it's a political, it's all political, all this is political, man. You can't call yourself a Jew for political reasons. You know what I'm saying? You can't call yourself an Israelite for political reasons. You can't hit the highways and byways for political reasons. You can't talk about the Bible in schools for political reasons. Everything political, man. And, you know, politics is usual. You know, that's sellouts, man. All right? Anyway.
We need to condemn all violence. Republicans condemn the violence that took place on the 6th. We condemn the violence that took place for 120 straight days in Portland when Antifa was laying siege to the federal building. While that was happening, we had our colleagues talk about they needed more unrest in the streets at the very time unrest was happening in the streets. We had our colleagues say that the organization that tried to end your life, and that for 120 days had violence happening every single day in Portland, that organization was a myth. Look, this is so important. I appreciate Mr. No's willingness to talk about the consistency that is needed from everyone, from both sides of the aisle, to address this problem and get violence out of our political process. Madam Chair, with that, I would give that.
Mr. Chair.
Oh no, excuse me, I wanted to say something. I yield to the ranking member.
Thank you. Madam Chair, without objection, I'd like to introduce into the record an article from August 29, 2008. It's a report from the Southern Poverty Law Center about the Black Hebrew Israelites entitled Racist Black Hebrew Israelites Becoming More Militant. And also a 2019 SPLC article describing the New Jersey attack on militancy of the Black Hebrew Israelites.
Without objection, so ordered. I'm going to introduce into the record without objection. Daily Beast article, Capitol Police Officer Compass Riders called me the N-word dozens of times. And exhibit number B, physically showing the visible surrounding of an officer on January 6th who is down, and a noose, exhibit C, placed by the domestic terrorists on January 6th. We have the ability now to recess very briefly for the last two votes. And so I'm going to recess the committee and ask members for their patience to come back. And to the witnesses, if you would continue to be available for us, we will conclude our hearing once we complete quickly these two votes. Thank you very much. The committee will stand in recess.
Session I'd like to introduce into the record an article from August 29, 2008. It's a report from the Southern Poverty Law Center about the Black Hebrew Israelites entitled
2008.
Racist Black Hebrew Israelites Becoming More Militant.
So they watching us, man. They're 100% watching us. This is somebody, these people you need to keep your eye on. They're Black Hebrew Israelites. How can you be a Black Hebrew Israelite? To be a Hebrew Israelite is a nationality, that's on race. But for political reasons, y'all have to use this thing known as a buzzword, which we're gonna get. So I did a watch on this not too long ago, and I'm not gonna go back into it and explain it. I'm gonna just go to the watch, and we're gonna hit play, and go and listen to it. And you can look it up on yourself on you know, what a buzzword is. All right?
Anyway, so like, now it says, let me go ahead and
No, it's Black woman, you know what I'm saying?
get that.
That's a buzzword. That's not actually, you know,
Because we got a couple points on approve. So you look up that word buzzword. It say a buzzword is a word or phrase new or already existing that becomes very popular for a period of time. Okay, so
It says buzzwords off.
And that's true, because we weren't always called black. We weren't always called Negro, niggas, whatever the hell they spooks. You know what I'm saying? The name always got updated. So a buzzword is something that gets up. It's a name that stays around for a certain amount of time. Them changing our name is a clear over time, over and over, whatever they call us, changing over time. It's a clear indication. It's proof. It's in fact that those titles are just buzzwords. That was never who you actually were.
Then derived from technical terms, yet often, so it's you technically not black. You see what I'm saying? We're calling you black due to technicalities. You can't, or phrase new or already existing. Let me go ahead and get that. Guys, we got a couple points on to prove. So when you look up that word buzzword, it's a buzzword is a word or phrase new or already existing that becomes very popular for a period of time. Okay, so it says buzzwords often derive from technical terms, yet often, so it's you technically not black. You see what I'm saying? We're calling you black due to technicalities. We can't, and that's your identity being hid from you, and you being put in a situation where you were to discontinue from your heritage. So the so-called white man helped do that by putting the term black on you, Latino on you. You see what I'm saying? Because these words are very words you need in these times to decipher through the truth, to weed through the truth that's coming out. You see? So you're gonna see this term black. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna see this term black. You're gonna see this term, this buzzword. You're gonna see this buzzword black. You're gonna see this buzzword Latino. So a buzzword is a phrase, is a word or a phrase. You see? So new or already existing. That becomes very popular for a period of time. So it's not really solid. You see what I'm saying? So the term, the word black or the phrase black woman, black man, black people, because that's a phrase, but it's just for a period of time. You see that? So you can't make this up. It says buzzword because that is actually gonna come off of you. And you're gonna see through that. It says buzzwords often derive from technical terms, yet often have much of the original meaning removed through fashionable use, being simply used to impress others. And when you go into that word impress, it says to make an impression on. It says imprint. Look, influence. These are synonyms. You see? Overpower, overwhelm, to take someone's breath away. You see? Astonish. That's what the Lord says he's going to do. So these are 100% fake names. These are not things to identify us. These are things to influence and astonish, as the Lord says. You see what I'm saying? It says stick in someone's mind. Look, imprint, stamp, mark. You see that? So you having these phrases put on you, you are actually marked. And a mark is we're gonna get that. It's pretty much a signal for something. These people are, exclusive people. You see? It says emphasize, to stress, bring home to establish in someone's mind, to fix deeply in someone's mind, and still inculcate, and drum into, knock, ingrain, leaving no doubt. See that? So it's all a sham, man. But these are not. These are not my points, but this is something you very need to understand the rest of this lesson. This is something you need to understand. You see a buzz phrase, a phrase drawn from an imitative or technical jargon and often rendered meaningless and fashionable through abuse. You see that? By non-technical persons and in a seeming show of familiarity with the subject. Our buzzword is good. It says, but much like other forms of slang, you see, so it's slang for who you really are. It's not, you see, because when we talk in slang, that's not actually how you talk. You see what I'm saying? It's just, you know, this is how we feel like talking. You see, I'm calling you. We don't really want to call you by your name. It says, much like other slang, forms of slang, business buzzwords are important. They can simplify complex concepts into a word. You see, these are the Israelites who fell away because, and it makes so much sense that this would be our situation, because if they were calling us the Israelites, everybody got the Bible and they read, and why we not, you see, in slang, that's not actually how you talk. You see what I'm saying? It's just, you know, this is how we feel like talking. You see, I'm calling you. We don't really want to call you by your name. It says, much like other slang, forms of slang, business buzzwords are important. They can simplify complex concepts into a word. You see, these are the Israelites who fell away because, and it makes so much sense that this would be our situation, because if they were calling us the Israelites, everybody got the Bible and they read, and why we not, you see what I'm saying? Which goes hand in hand on how everybody can't understand. So why would you even have cause more confusion? Slang, forms of slang, business buzzwords are important. They can simplify complex concepts into a word. You see, these are the Israelites who fell away because, and it makes so much sense that this would be our situation, because if they were calling us the Israelites, everybody got the Bible and they read, and why we not, you see what I'm saying? Which goes hand in hand on how everybody can't understand. So why would you even have cause more Israelites knowingly in your face, but yet they're not on top, and you already don't understand the Bible? You see what I'm saying? Because if they try to go on and pretty much tell you what happened, that you got to tell everything, and most people can't get that, and that just wouldn't make sense. Well, they're really the Israelites, but we had to, you know, pretty much put them in slavery for disobeying the Father's commandments. And you know, we're not actually Jews ourselves, but they are, and we are actually the devil. So it'll make you like you feel like you're in the goddamn twilight zone. So the Lord, everything He does makes sense. So we have to have these names upon us for the world to come into sense. But that's a whole other thing. But my whole point is, it's slang. These are not our real names, man. You see? So it's literally these names continuously coming up at the end of these last times. It's showing you. It's a clear indicator that somebody exclusive is being targeted. Someone very familiar or important. And that's the Israelites, man. Black, Latino, anytime you see it, African American, because they like to switch it up. You see, they say they are important because they can simplify complex concepts, which is what I just explained, into a word or phrase that is easy to understand. You see what I'm saying? So that instead of just explaining how the Israelites went into captivity, they broke the Lord's commandments, they would take on bywords. But these are the Israelites, though. You know, you still call them Israelites. They're like, nah, I just call them black. This is somebody who has failed. Latinos, these are people. They're people, and they clearly gonna show you that they somebody special. And we're gonna clearly show you them being special because they have a slang, a buzzword put on them, man, as an identification. It's crazy. It says that it's easy to understand. Buzzwords are used frequently. You like, oh, this the guy who fell. This is who's the piece of shit right now. You see that? Without any explanation, you know, properly. It says buzzwords are used frequently in office environments and can be used and can be a key part of the corporate culture, because this is all going into you know, status and politics. You see? So that's pretty much it. So you should understand that. Yep, it says buzzwords when speaking of public speakers or politicians. We often accuse them of using these are literary terms, right? buzzwords. That the definition is in examples, but it says literary terms. It says, I'm gonna pull this up so you can look it up. You can go to literaryterms.net. It says, what is a buzzword? Right? When speaking of public speakers or politicians, we often accuse them. Remember, who's the them? The public speakers, your damn news reporters, your media, your presidents, your mayors, your council leaders, your chief of departments. You see what I'm saying? Fire department, police department. What is a buzzword? When speaking of public speakers or politicians, you see what I'm saying? The Obamas, congressmen. It says we often accuse them of using buzzwords rather than digging deeper into an issue. So when they address the so-called black, the Israelites who are buzzword as the so-called blacks, as blacks, because they don't want to dig into a deeper issue. So when somebody gets shot in the hood and the chief of the police, he's standing in front of the caution tape and telling them, well, black was killed. You see what I'm saying? That's them not digging deeper. That's them using that. You see what I'm saying? That's a public speaker using a buzzword to not have to dig deeper into, and that's all been set up by the elites on down. And it's just been a protocol ever since. Because every time that buzzword come up, you're gonna be like, oh, it was just the black people. Instead of, if you was calling them Israelites, you'd be like, damn, the Bible real. You see what I'm saying? Damn, these people really the devil. They really doing this. You see what I'm saying? Nah, that don't even go up the story. That's why we have to talk about words. Because these are clear indicators to where people wouldn't have an excuse and for the Lord's story to make perfect sense, going to make sense and him to bring forth his real, proper way, justly, in the way humans would get it. You see? We will be oppressed because nobody wouldn't know who the fuck the Israelites were. Because they would have buzzwords put on them, bywords. But these are indicators. Black is not an identification, man. Latino is not an identification. It's a buzzword, a phrase used by politicians or public speakers that don't want to dig deeper into an issue. You see that? A buzzword is a word or a phrase that has little meaning but becomes popular during a specific time. See that? Woo, you can't make this up, man.
Wow. They cut the shit. They fucking cut the damn shit. This some stupid ass thing.
Formula, man.
They done cut the damn live, man. These niggas sitting here watching us, man. They just cut the fucking live. And that shit made all the sense in the world. We know it. Not one bit that was just said didn't make me. It wasn't a speck in there that didn't make sense. They cut the fuck out this shit, bro. Yeah. Fuck y'all. Damn haters, man. Now when they let the thing, these niggas just cut the live, man. Like some haters. They cut the house out over time. Like some haters.
And also a 2019 SPLC article describing the Jersey attack and the militancy of the Black Hebrew Israelites.
There it is.
Without objection, so ordered. I'm gonna introduce into the record.
You can't be a black Hebrew Israelite. They're gonna throw a buzzword in the nationality. Yeah, I know, man. But tell you the whole point, they just had they mad, they haters. They just showed it just now. They just cut the lives. Lives is gonna cut off. And they ain't did it. I don't know how long. Just somehow y'all did that on the Russian thing we did. Every time something like critical coming out, everything's critical. But certain things y'all just don't want. You know? Fuck out of here, man. They hate that one. Because we can, as I said, it's like this shit old, man. Constantly going into this, y'all gonna defame us. Y'all been defaming us. We've been the Hebrew Israelites the whole time. So Lord have us do a different take on it. You see what I'm saying? We can easy just pull the scriptures out and read when they gonna defame us and all. That's already happened. And that's been happening. They talking about 2008. But anyway, man. So that's just a testament that everything that was just said is solid. And these niggas watching.
And get violence out of our political process.
Yeah,
I care with that. I would get that.
Mr.
Oh no, excuse me. I got to yield to. Yeah, I wanted to say something.
We're gonna play this like
Thank you. Madam Chair, without objection, I'd like to introduce into the record an article from August 29, 2008. It's a report from the Southern Poverty Law Center about the Black Hebrew Israelites entitled Racist Black Hebrew Israelites Becoming More Militant. And also a 2019 SPLC article describing the Jersey attack and militancy of the Black Hebrew Israelites.
Hey, man.
Without objection, so ordered. I'm gonna introduce into the record.
I'd like to introduce into the record an article from August 29, 2008. It's a report from the Southern Poverty Law Center about the Black Hebrew Israelites entitled Racist Black Hebrew Israelites Becoming More Militant. And also a 2019 SPLC article.
Wow, we can buy more Bibles. You know what I'm saying?
Describing the Jersey attack. And
let's get the word militant. You know what I'm saying? Because if that word describes something we not, that's gonna show y'all to be liars and devils.
Militancy.
Because y'all have to show us Hebrew Israelites depicting this.
Black Hebrew Israelites.
Without objection, so ordered. I'm gonna introduce into the record. Without objection.
Let me get that. Y'all the damn devil. And we ain't gonna be vigilant like the rest of you dang people. We don't trust in guns and ammunition and bulletproof vests. We don't do that. Damn devil. All right. This is 1 Peter 5:8. Come. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant." You see, be vigilant. Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walking about, seeking whom he may devour. So yeah, we vigilant, man. We're gonna get that word too. Come on, you got it.
Militant, combative, and aggressive in support of a political or social cause.
But this ain't political. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. This is the Father's business. This is the creator of heaven and earth. He don't deal with politics. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Typically favor extreme violent or confrontational methods.
That's a lie. So you want to show us somebody that did that. We don't do that. We read the Bible. People come up pulling guns on bystanders are violent. Men of the Lord reading this Bible is not violent. They're not militant. So you fail and you're a liar. You got it. Is that it?
No, that's it.
We're gonna talk about some aggressive. How are we being aggressive? You know what I'm saying? We walking up to people reading the Bible. You know what I'm saying? That's aggressive.
So militant, combative.
If you come up to me and I'm reading loud and you say, "Why are you reading loud?" And I said 58:1. Cry aloud, spare not. lift up thy voice like a trumpet. Does that sound like a commandment? It says, and shew my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins. You see? So that's a commandment of those that follow the doctrine of the Bible, man. All right? We're supposed to lift up our voice like a trumpet. Does a trumpet sound low? No. They're clearly commanded to lift up your voice like a trumpet. This is Titus 1:13. This witness is true. So this is the witness, this is the testimony. Wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith. You see, not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. See? The hell out of here, man. So you call that aggressive? We supposed to rebuke sharply. What does it mean to rebuke? Let's get the word rebuke, brother. We approve of anybody that's against this word. You know? Anything that's against this word. Did y'all not pass public law, what is it, 298-10? You know what I'm saying? I can get it. I can get it. Show y'all to be the devils y'all are. Go ahead, bro.
This is rebuke. It says, express sharp disapproval or criticism of someone.
Express what?
Sharp disapproval.
Mm-hmm.
Of someone because of their behavior
or
actions.
So you get cussed out according to the Bible, man. This is a law that they passed. You know, and I'm gonna read it. Public Law 97-8. It says joint resolution. This is 97 Congress, and it was passed October 4th, 1982. Joint resolution authorizing and requesting the president to proclaim 1983 as the year of the Bible. In quotations, year of the Bible. Whereas the Bible, the Word of God, has made a unique contribution in shaping the United States as a distinctive and blessed nation and people. You see? Whereas deeply held religious convictions springing from the Holy Scriptures led to the early settlement of our nation. Whereas biblical teachings inspired concepts of civil government, you see, that are contained in our Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. Whereas many of our great national President Washington, Jackson, Lincoln, and Wilson paid tribute to the surpassing influence of the Bible in our country's development, and as in the words of President Jackson, that the Bible is the rock on which our republic rests. You see? It says, whereas the history of our nation clearly illustrates the value of voluntarily applying, whereas the history of our nation clearly illustrates the value of voluntarily applying the teachings of the Scriptures in the lives of individuals, families, and societies. Whereas that renewing our knowledge and faith in God through Holy Scripture can strengthen us as a nation and a people. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled that the President is authorized and requested to designate 1983 as a national year of the Bible in recognition of both the formative influence the Bible has been for our nation and our national need to study and apply the teachings of the Holy Scriptures. Approved October 4th, 1982. You know, with a damn. So yeah, so what's up, man? You know, what's up? So let's do it then. This is Titus 1:13. This witness is true. Wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith, not giving heed to Jewish fables. So we ain't listen to nobody talking. We ain't to listen to nobody talking about they Jewish. See that? Made up Jewish crap. That ain't in here. There's no such thing as a dreidel in the scriptures. There's no such thing as a nine-branch menorah in the scriptures. We are to reject that. That's a fable. It says, and commandments of men. That's what y'all coming with, though. That turn from the truth, which is this word, man. All right? Let's apply one more. Revisit. Isaiah 58:1. Cry aloud. Spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet. And shew my people. The Lord's people are the Israelites, man. Their transgression. And the house of their sins. You see? And let's get one proving that the Lord's people are the Israelites, man. Ain't nobody else. This is 1 Kings in the 8th chapter. In the 14th verse. And it reads, and the king turned his face about and blessed all the congregation of Israel. And all the congregation of Israel stood. And he said, blessed be the Lord Yahweh, God, power of Israel, which spake with his mouth unto David, my father, and hath with his hand fulfilled it, saying, since the day that I brought forth my people, Israel, out of Egypt, I chose no city of all the tribes, out of all the tribes of Israel, to build an house, that my name might be therein. But I chose David to be over my people, Israel. So there you go, man. So according to the Bible, the Lord's people are Israel, the Israelites. So what's up, man? You know, it's all a sham, man. Y'all people finished already. You're gonna come try to defame. You already doing that. You defame me. You're finished. There's nothing you people can do. All right. And I had another article, but it's not even important, man. Like this shit is just so. I'm over this shit, man. I know it's gonna be bad, you know, when it come up, but I'm pretty much over this, man. You know, they just y'all clearly just haters. That's all it is. What are we even talking about? Only thing we already, the Lord said He's gonna come for us, man. Let's get that Isaiah 10, and then we're gonna go on the second Ezra. That'll be it. We're gonna close up. It's not even deep. It's deep though, you know, for political reasons on their end. Y'all haters, y'all just cut the lie. For what? We supposed to be doing this according to y'all. You know? Go ahead, man.
God, this Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and their right grievousness which they have prescribed. To turn aside the need from judgment.
See, they want to take us from this book. That's all this is. I'm calling you a black Hebrew Israelite, because the buzzword is the black part. A Hebrew Israelite is nationality. So all those awakening to the fact that you know, Hebrew Israelites, they put us under them domestic terrorists. Pushing the word is terrorism. Well, the Lord's terror, he's a terror. He's a terror to people, man. He's terrible, as the scriptures say. The scriptures say, matter of fact, I got something right here. Back that up. This is Jeremiah. (17) and 17. Be not a terror unto me. I'm gonna start at 15. I'm gonna start at 15. Behold, they say unto me, where is the word of the Lord? Yahweh, let it come now. As for me, I have not hasted from being a passenger to follow thee, neither have I desired the woeful day. See, so we're supposed to keep teaching this word, you know, and know that the Lord ain't nothing to play with. Because that's the woeful day. It says, thou knowest that which came out of my lips was right before thee. The Lord listening to your words. You see, be not a terror You see, unto me, thou art my hope. Thou art my hope in the day of evil. You see, let them be confounded that persecute me, but let me not be confounded. Let them be dismayed, but let not be dismayed. Bring upon them the day of evil, and destroy them with double destruction. You see, so the Lord has something known as double destruction. He's a terror, man. So if I'm pushing that, wouldn't that be terrorism? But you said that's what this country is based upon. But you lied. You really didn't. You a hypocrite, man. You ain't got no word. You ain't got no. Man, bro. Go ahead.
God answered, Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree righteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed.
Yeah, so if you teach this word now about to soon be labeled as domestic terror, they presented a case where they had Twitter screenshots. You know what I'm saying? That was the case in an article from 2008 about how Hebrew Israelites are becoming more militant. Which means, what did it mean again?
Militant, combative, and aggressive.
That's a lie. You see what I'm saying? Come on.
In support of a political or social cause.
We're not politicians. You know, we're Hebrew Israelites. All right, come on.
And typically favor extreme, violent, or confrontational methods.
That's a lie. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, man. You know what I'm saying? All we gotta do is we're gonna get the second Ezra 16. You know, close out. What's talking about? You know, yeah, we're not militant, man. So that's a lie. You know, y'all writing mandates on, you know, y'all can make us domestic terrorists, man. So that, you know, but hey, that's what I was gonna get. Or you can get it if you want to. Matthew 22:8. 22:8.
This is Matthew chapter 22, verse 8. Then saith he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy.
Yeah, you got Israelites who are invited to the wedding. But you got all of our people are not worthy. Come on. Who are so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
Matthew chapter 22, verse 9. Go ye therefore into the highways.
He said, what?
Go ye therefore into the highways.
Into the highways. Don't y'all got places called highways? You know what I'm saying? But we supposed to be on the highways where you people passing through. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
And as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage.
Find the people. We invite them into the wedding. But we don't go to people. We go to the highways. You see what I'm saying? We don't go up to anybody. We're not aggressive. We're commanded to go and do people see other people. According to this word, y'all said we're supposed to be applying the teachings of the Bible. You see what I'm saying? And into people's lives and societies. I said that, man. What happened? Second Ezra 16. It started 68. It started 66.
Second Ezra chapter 6,
64.
verse 64. Therefore hath the Lord exactly searched out all your works.
Start at 62, brother.
Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 62. It says, yet in the spirit of almighty power, which made all things, and searcheth out all hidden things in the secrets of the earth. It says, surely he knoweth your inventions, and what you think in your hearts, even them that sin and would hide their sin.
Yeah, so you people covering it is, y'all really just after the Hebrew Israelites awakening, you know what I'm saying? And for political purposes, y'all can't have that because then y'all don't rule anymore. Because then the Bible actually plays out what it says is going to be the case. You see what I'm saying? And for political purposes, you can't have that because that ruins you out of your status. You see what I'm saying? We're written to be out of, above all people. See, I have to keep us in sin. And the easiest way to do that is by telling us we're Black, we're African American, we're Mexican, Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? Which means rich pork. What is it? Pork, rich pork, or pork. Because there's also abundant and shit. But that's the whole point. The easiest way to keep us in sin, is to keep us blind, not only to sin and things, but ourselves. You know what I'm saying? You got people walking around not even realizing themselves. Because the eye. The Lord see that, man. And that's all this is, another attempt at that. And ultimately to eradicate us. Wow, for political purposes. So what's written don't play out. Us being back at the bottom, and your greedy ass being on back at the top, and your greedy ass being back on the bottom. And you coons that don't want, sovereignty to just, let this so-called white people, you know what, man? Go ahead.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 16. Before, therefore hath the Lord exactly searched out all your works.
Yep, that's why we're going into this. Come on.
And he will put you all to shame.
And that's what's going on. And that's what's going to happen. You might think you might have got the win temporarily, but not. It's going to play out bad for you. Come on.
And when your sins are brought forth, ye shall be ashamed before men. Before men. And your own sins shall be your accusers in that day.
See? Damn words. Come on. That damn mouth. Come on.
What will you do? Or how will you hide your sins before the Most High and his angels? Behold, the Most High himself is the judge. He is the judge. Fear him. Leave off from your sins.
Do what he said.
Leave off from your sins and forget your iniquities.
Stop opposing him.
To meddle no more with them forever.
Yep.
So shall the Most High lead you forth.
Yeah, so you awaken Hebrew Israelites out there, keep awakening to the truth, and turn away from lies.
So shall the Most High lead you forth and deliver you from all troubles.
That's why we ain't worried about what y'all people got planned. Come on.
For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you.
And that's all these congressmen, these senates, and these people, they, minds they influencing at home with the buzzwords. When you think of a Black Hebrew Israelite, now not only is it's the buzzword person they created in the Black person, but they attach it to what's holy, right? The Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? But they're like, you guys can never be this. That's holy. But then they be it right in front of your face. You see what I'm saying? You still don't want to, accept it. So that means you're a hypocrite. But nonetheless, that's a burning multitude of us, man. You see what I'm saying? Come on.
And it shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. It says, and they consent unto them,
And they that consent,
and they that consent unto them shall be,
and they that consent unto them, I got it. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach, and trodden underfoot. For there shall be in every place and in the next city a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. See, this prophecy. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, for spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's really what y'all doing, man. Because, if the Lord is ruling, y'all can't rule. Which is why this place it opposes everything the Lord wants. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to rule. You don't want him to rule. And when he rules, your enemies rule, which is so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Because they're his people. They're his children. It says, and it says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they, and they high out, wasting and taking away our goods, the channels, the word we bring out, the knowledge we understand, we put out, you know what I'm saying? That's probably going to hide. They shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known. Who are my chosen? You see what I'm saying? So this is the very thing that's letting us be known that we the people. Until the so-called black Hebrew Israelites, when nobody claimed to be Hebrew Israelites. When no Hebrew Israelites. They was all dead, remember? And they shall be tried after gold in the fire. You see, hear, O ye, my beloved, saith the Lord. You Hebrew Israelites awakening, man. They have awoken. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand. You see, so we in different trouble already. But I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt. For the Most High is your God, and other will keep our commands and precepts, says the Lord God. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. See? So that's it, man. Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins and covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, and no man may travel through it. Sure. Knowledge they have that's based off dogma can't get them nowhere, can't protect them. You see what I'm saying? The system they believe in can't protect them if once it goes down. You see what I'm saying? Even when you take the books away, you take them away. What's written as the will of the earth to be put over the earth and upon the inhabitants hereof will still come to pass. You see, regardless. So, this is probably another warning that the family word is going to come. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it, man. The hell with you devils. How about you all shot gonna deliver them 1/3 regardless? You're gonna have some martyrs. That's it. And they coming straight back. They coming back first and more. And put you people to death, and that's the truth. That thing you wanna say, bro? Alright. So till next time, to hell with you devils, death to America, and death to you devils. Alright? According to the Bible. So next time we're gonna give our praise and glory to the Heavenly Father in the name of His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Wahakadosh Rakah, above the ball. Alright? Death to America. According to the word.